here on KTC Broadcasting after the ball games. All right, we're going to take about a couple of minutes here and talk about wings and things, and they do have things down there too. They got jumbo beef hot dogs, and they've got barbecue, and they've got meaty chicken tenders, and got fried Cajun shrimp. They got chicken shrimp. I still ain't figured that out, Ron. Now, you said there's little chickens. And we got wings, and you can take your pick. Buffalo, barbecue, mild, bourbon, garlic, Parmesan, hot, teriyaki. They got 100% Angus burgers. They've got shrimp and grits, veggie trays, Georgia mac and cheese, sweet and hot chili. They've got all kinds of stuff. The problem with coming to the fair here, Ron, is the guy just walked by, was a former student of mine many years ago, Michael Crowder, and we had a nice conversation. What made me feel bad was not only did he bring his lovely wife, his high school girlfriend with him, but he introduced to me his daughter who had just gotten married. And you know what that is? That makes me old. Old. I mean old. Okay, let's see. That's the food. You've already told them about what's going on here today. And we talked about the good places to go and eat and do things. And Danny Blanton hadn't come back by. So, Danny, I hate to say this, but we are leaving early because of ball games. So come on out to the fair. Ron and I will be here tomorrow and probably Sunday. And come by and say hello and let us know who you are. And we thank you for your visit to the fair, and we thank Calvin for letting us be here.
From the KTC Broadcasting Weather Center, here's your forecast for Cleveland and Gaston counties. Tonight turns cloudy with showers likely through the evening and more developing after midnight. Patchy fog is expected late and lows settle in the mid-60s. Looking ahead to Saturday, widespread showers return with a chance of afternoon thunderstorms and highs in the upper 70s. From the KTC Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Johnny Cottle for WOHS and WCSL.
Currently from the KTC Broadcasting Studios, it's
5:46 and the temperature is 78 degrees.
Now back to the Witherspoon Insurance pregame show.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Witherspoon Insurance of Shelby pregame show. Western North Carolina football, high school football, brought to you by Witherspoon Insurance here on KTC Broadcasting.com. We're going to talk our top 25 teams real quick, and then we're going to I'm going to let Dennis. I've been listening to Dennis. I'm going to talk to let Brian and I'm sorry for insulting you fellas. Brian and Ken go over some of the games. So top 25, how it works. I got 48 teams in the area. If you beat an 8A team, you get 8 points, 7, 6, 6, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, and so on. If you lose to an 8A team, you don't lose any points. If you lose to a 7A team, you lose 1 point. 6A 2, 5, 3, 4, 4, 3, 5, 2, 6, and 1, 7. So after 5 weeks, we're in week 6 of the season. We're halfway through the regular season with halfway point here. 48 teams in our area. We covered Gaston, Lincoln, Cleveland, and Rutherford counties and the teams in their conferences. So that's where the teams come from. So if you wonder where your team was, you didn't hear, they might not be in the top 25. Just outside the top 25 this week at 30, Union Academy, RS Central at 29, Community School of Davidson at 28, and number 27, Burns, and number 26, Cherryville. At number 25 tonight, this week, the Thomas Jefferson Griffons have moved into the top 25 for the first time this season. Congratulations on them. They've got negative 3 points right now. They're 3-1 on the season, though, and give up 47. Number 24 with negative 1 power point is the Forest View Jaguars. They're 2-3 on the season. They've given up 140 points on defense. Also of negative 1 in a three-way tie is West Lincoln and Ford. Currently, both 2-2. Fords give up 105. West Lincoln's give up 154, so Ford is at 22 and West Lincoln at 23. At number 21, the Newton Conover Red Devils with 2 power points. They are 2-2 on the season, and they've given up 126 points. Brian, next row.
Number 20 is 3-2 Shelby with 2 power points. Number 19 is the Banjis Trojans with 4 power points and a 3-1 record. They've allowed 128 points this year. East Rutherford is an 18 with a 3-1 record and 5 power points. The Chase Trojans come in at 17 with a 3-1 record and 6 power points. And South Stanley is coming in at 16 with a 3-1 record and 7 power points.
Coming in at number 15 is Christ the King with 7 power points, 4-1 record. 14th, High Brighton with 9 power points and a 3-1 record. 13th, the Lincoln Wolves, 11 power points, 4-1 record. Number 12, Crest coming in at 12 power points, 3-1 record. And South Point coming in at number 11, 13 power points, 3-1 record.
Now, fellas, this is the folks were wondering. It's weighted standings is what it is. There's no votes. There's nothing to it. It's weighted standings. You just get points for winning and losing. Now, if I gave you fellas without looking at your sheets, look up at me. I want you to look up the cameras. Don't look at your sheets right now. North Stanley, Kramer, East Lincoln, and Ashbrook are our only undefeated teams still in the area. Ken, how would you rank those teams 1 through 4?
Well,
Ashbrook, East Lincoln, North Stanley, and Kramer.
Ashbrook, East Lincoln, Kramer, and North Stanley.
All right. So that's Brian after 5 weeks, 4-0. They're not 1 through 4.
No, it's hashing it out pretty good.
So North Stanley comes in at number 10, actually, because of the weight of their victories. So they are 13 power points. They are 4-0. They win the tiebreaker of South Point by being undefeated, so they get the 10 spot. Kings Mountain at number 9 are 4-1. They got 14 power points. They lose a 3-way tie with West Iredale and Maiden, who Maiden beat last week 21-0. So actually, they're both 4-1 with 14 power points, but West Iredale does give up less points. But Maiden will beat them, so they get the tiebreaker, the head-to-head matchup, and they get the spot at number 7. So West Iredale falls from 4 to 8 this week. Maiden is number 7. Hickory with a win last week. They move up to 4-1. They are 15 power points at number 6. And our top 2 stay the same. Ashbrook 1, East Lincoln 2. Kramer's at 5 at undefeated. We just talked about them. They've got 45 points on the season. They're at Shelby tonight. Corvion is at number 4 with 16 power points. They're 3-1. They're at UNC Charlotte tonight versus Lincoln Charter. We got that live on video. Hunter Huss, 4-1, 17 power points, is our number 3 team in the area. East Lincoln at number 2, 5-0 with 26 power points. And number 1, Ashbrook, 5-0 with 30 power points on the season. All right, folks, there's your power point standings for this week. All right, let's talk a little bit about our broadcast games. We'll start with Forest View at Crestview 2, and I'll let you guys kind of start there, then we'll work our way up the list there. How about that? I do have highlights I do want to remind folks for our Red Zone channel. We'll have highlights during that show from 7:30 to 9:45 of West Lincoln Burns, our Central Chase, Corvion Lincoln, Kramer Shelby, Forest View Crest, and special coverage of Highland Tech and Lincoln, Hunter Huss and South Point. Read that wrong. So there you go, guys. All right, I'll let you guys talk about tonight's games. We'll start there. Forest View at Crest.
Well, Crest had a bye last week, had a week to rest after their loss to Weddington, and they take on the Forest View, who's got a 2-3 record. Crest coming in at 3-1. I think Crest is going to be ready to play, and I don't think this is going to be a close game. I think I'm going to say 35-10. Crest takes this one.
Yeah, in the same way, Crest is going to probably, flex their muscle here. They had a week to rest and another week to prepare for a Forest View team that's just not the caliber of the Crest Chargers. So I look for the same thing. I'm going to go 42-14 in that game, for the Crest Chargers. We'll go to the next game on the list that we're covering tonight, and that's the Kramer Storm at the Shelby Golden Lions. There's been a lot of talk about this matchup a little bit, because Kramer's been making some noise. They're undefeated. What's your thoughts on that, Ken?
Well, Stuart Kramer, as you said, coming in, haven't lost. They're led by quarterback Cleve Phillips and running back Dominique McCorkle. They played a schedule, hadn't been that tough. The combined record of the teams they have played so far is 4-15. So they're running up against, obviously, a tough opponent tonight with Shelby, and we know with that offense led by Lane Farmer and all those good receivers he's throwing it to. I think Shelby's going to put some points on the board, and they'll win this one 35-14.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I say, I look for Shelby Golden Lions to dominate up front in this football game, which will give Land time to throw, get those receivers open. They got a lot of speed. I just don't think Kramer's ran into this quality of opponent. And I've got the result: Shelby 35, Kramer 7. All right, so we'll go to the Corvion Community Cardinals, who's visiting the Lincoln Charter Eagles down at UNC Charlotte that we think we're getting video from tonight. So, Ken, what do you think about that?
Well, there's going to be a lot of balls flying around in the air down there at Charlotte because we got two passing attacks. I think Corvion, their only loss on the season, they're 3-1. Their only loss on the season was to 7A Butler, and it was only 14-9. So they went all the way last year. I think they lost to Tarboro in the state championship. So they lost some seniors, but they got a good program down there and got a good team back. They're led by freshman quarterback Tyson Douglas Brown. And Lincoln Charter, they're 2-3. They're led by sophomore quarterback Braden Walton, who's passed over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns so far. But Lincoln Charter's defense, I don't think can hold Corvion down enough to win the game. I think Corvion wins this one 31-21.
Yeah, like I said, the only chance that Lincoln Charter's got is to lean on that running game, and they do average 155 yards a game rushing. But I just think it's going to be Corvion. It's going to be too much for them here. I got Corvion 35, Lincoln Charter 14. So, all right, so we go over to Rutherford County and some matchup of Forest City teams, or close proximity anyway. RS Central Hilltoppers are traveling to the Chase Trojans. What do you think, Ken?
Well, RS coming in with a 1-3 record and going to visit Chase. Chase is 3-1, led by quarterback Daniel Timpkin, over 1,200 yards passing, 12 touchdowns. Also, Keontae Wingo, running back, averaging over 100 yards per game and 6 touchdowns. And they had him listed, I think, at about 5'4", 140. So he's a small guy, but he obviously makes some things happen. RS 1-3 on the season. They're led by sophomore quarterback Ryan Holly, who has 512 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and also averages 80 yards rushing the game with 3 touchdowns. But they have records not great at 1-3, but 3 of the losses were by 3 points, 5 points, to 7 points. So they have been in every game, RS has. But I think playing on the road at Chase, I'll give Chase the advantage here in a close game. Chase 35-28.
I'm thinking RS again. They have played close into some quality opponents, and you look at the scores that Chase has put up against some teams that are a little bit weaker. They've kind of squeaked out wins. So I'm going to go the other way. I'm thinking RS goes down to Chase and picks them off at 28-14 in this game tonight.
All right.
And our game of the week is the West Lincoln Rebels. They're visiting Burns Bulldogs. Ken, what do you got on this matchup?
Well, we know that West Lincoln's not going to pass the ball. They're going to line up in that tight formation, and they're going to have that run in a ground attack led by 3 runners, T.J. Stratford, Gray Ponder, and Aiden Puckett. All are averaging over 100 yards rushing per game. And Burns will be led 2-3 record. They're led by running back Mac Davis, who leads them in rushing, and he's also a leader on defense. They try to pass it some, but they hadn't been very successful. So I think this is going to be a ground attack on both sides. Burns obviously has played a tougher schedule than West Lincoln. I think playing at home, Burns will win this one 28-21.
Yeah, like I said, I'll give the advantage to the Bulldogs at home. Look for Max Davis to have another big game. He's rushed for over 500 yards and 11 touchdowns through the first 5 weeks of the season, averaging over 100 yards a game. I got Burns 42, West Lincoln 14. We're going to continue the pregame show for the next 30 minutes online. We're going to pass the torch over to the radio guys and their pregame shows for the football. And it'll be all for the radio broadcast of the Witherspoon Insurance pregame show. And like I say, look for us online for the next 30 minutes. We'll cover the rest of the games on the slate.
All right, folks, the best way to find your game, ktcbroadcasting.com. It has all the links. You can listen to all the games, watch all the games on the website. Now, I want to go through specifics. Forest View at Crest is on WOHS YouTube page. Pregame at 6:30 p.m. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. The Kramer Storm at Shelby Golden Lions are going up next right here on 101.5 and 1390 a.m. You can listen to that game here on WOHS. Corvion at Lincoln Charter live, YouTube only. You can watch that game live on YouTube, lincolncounty.com. You can watch it on lincolncounty.com and YouTube on that channel. Corvion at Lincoln Charter. Rutherford County Game of the Week, RS Central at Chase. You can listen to that game on 1320 a.m., 107.5 FM in Rutherford County, and watch that game live on YouTube. That game kicks off at 6:30. Lincoln Charter kicks off at 7. Shelby kicks off at 6:30. Westlake and Burns kicks off at 6:30. Right now, going to them on 92.9 FM, 1590 AM. You can watch that live on YouTube here in just a few moments. We're going out to the stadiums here. Thank you for watching and listening to the Witherspoon Insurance pregame show. We're going to keep it live on YouTube for just a few months until 6:30. So if YouTube watchers, stay with us. All right, we'll be right back on ktcbroadcasting.com.
Before you buy insurance, call and compare at Witherspoon Insurance in Shelby, featuring names like Progressive, National General, and State Auto. They do it all. Auto, home, life, health, commercial, motorcycle, RVs, golf carts, and indemnity bonds with low down payments. Call 704-480-9595 or drop by their office at 125 North Lafayette Street in Shelby, right across from First Baptist Church. Serving Cleveland County since 1986. Online at WitherspoonInsurance.com.
Hello, Gaston County residents. Nowhere is saying knowledge is power more evident than when it's time to buy or sell your home. For over 25 years, Moss Realty has served the communities of Gaston County. Warren and his team live, work, and play in Gaston County. They know the quality of life this side of the river and offer their personal knowledge of the community. And knowledge is power. Voted best of Gaston year after year after year. Your hometown specialists. Visit them at mossrealty.com or 704-865-5555.
The next hour of music is being brought to you by TAC, the Transportation Administration of Cleveland County. Ride free by calling 704-482-6465. Again, ride free by calling 704-482-6465. For TAC, the Transportation Administration of Cleveland County. Bringing you this hour of true oldies on The Boss.
WOHS 101.5 and 1390 AM, Cleveland County, Shelby, North Carolina. KTC Broadcasting, nominated by the Carolina Beach Music Academy as Station of the Year.
chosen breed. You don't see too many like me. by Alex J. Yeah. First and 10. We in the trenches. You like the water cooler. You be on the benches. Think your team better, but they lack skill. First snap, I leave your backs in the backfield. Your quarterback scared, I see it in his eyes. Sent the receiver in motion, that's just a disguise. My linebackers, they stepping up. Clog a hole, no letting up. Taking on them big blocks. On fourth down, we get big stops. My secondary is balling out. Your offense keeps stalling out. How many yards? Like none at all. Call the special teams, come punt the ball and it's gone. And you never see me fair catch. I get a block and then I'm gone like a Lear jet. My helmet on, pass strap tight. My jersey shining in them Friday night lights. Win, we just came to win. Win, we just came to win. Friday night lights. Friday night lights. Win. We just came to win. Win. We must protect this house. I'm in a huddle talking to the Hawks. We gonna run it down their throat soon as we get the ball. Come out and fire off the ball. We going on one. My skill position so proficient. Break for long runs. Come out running that option. That mean I got the option to keep that or pitch that. Defense, they gotta fix that. 4 receivers, we spread them out in the shotgun. Hot reads, I got some. My tight end, so awesome. Touchdowns, I toss some. We score 6, scoreboard, that score 6. Respect the ball, we protect the ball. We don't fumble, no throw picks. I feed my linemen pancakes, so all they blocks are pancakes. Push you around like all night. End of the game, get your handshakes, huh? My helmet on, pass strap tight. My jersey shining in them Friday night lights. Win. We just came to win. Win. We just came to win. Friday night lights. Friday night lights. Win. We just came to win. Win. We must protect this house.
Here properly. Thank you, sir. He's the tech savvy guru. That's why he makes the big bucks. But welcome back. Glad those of you listening to us online. We had a little change of schedule with the football game starting earlier. So again, those of you that are the folks that were listening on the radio, they are already listening probably to their respective pregame shows there at the field. So Brian, Ken, good to join y'all this evening again. I listened to y'all coming in. I saw y'all or listened and heard that y'all were going down some of the games, some of our top games and broadcast games that we've got. So we're going to go, those of you listening online still, if you're looking on, if you can see us online, you can see the slate of games we've got that we'll keep up with. We'll give score updates throughout the night with the Red Zone that we've got, and then we'll wrap things up with the Full Throttle Power Sports of Lowell post-game show. We're going to continue doing predictions right up until 6:30. We're going to continue with the games on the top row, kind of as we normally do. Those of you can see, we've got little miniature cams of Ken, Brian, and myself. Guys, give yourself a wave real quick. Let everybody see where you're at. So you can see the miniature cams there in the middle. The games up above that, we've already done the ones on the far, or at least the top 5 on the far left. I think we've done West Lincoln, Burns, RS and Chase, Corby Community at Lincoln Charter, Kramer at Shelby, and Forest View at Crest. We're going to pick up with East Lincoln and Bunker Hill, then we'll start heading to the right, kind of going backwards of what we normally do just because of the time constraints. So we want to make sure and try to get those games while we were on the air, on the radio, on the airwaves. So anyways, picking things up where we left off, East Lincoln travels over to Bunker Hill this evening. Kenny, what research you got on us for that?
Well, East Lincoln have been lighting up the scoreboard, averaging over 50 points a game, led with that big passing attack, led by Grant Lawless. Again, last week, they scored 49.7 touchdowns. Lawless threw for 5 touchdowns, and, oh, by the way, ran for the other 2. So he had a hand in all of them. But that offense from East Lincoln, nobody's been able to slow it down, and Bunker Hill coming in with a 1-4 record won't be able to slow it down either. I see East Lincoln winning 49-14.
Yeah, Grant Lawless has only thrown 21 TD passes through 5 games.
Yeah.
And looks like they got a decent defense. They got a defensive end, a two-way guy, plays defensive end and tight end, and Jackson Dollar has caught 11 of them.
Yeah, and
So
he's being recruited pretty highly, I understand, for basketball and football.
Must just be a handful, and in no way whatsoever are the Bunker Hill Bears going to be able to stay with this high-powered East Lincoln attack. I've got East Lincoln winning 35-7.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to go along with you there. I think Bunker Hill, they've got 1 win on the year for opening the season, their opening week against Drawn. And obviously they lost 49-0 2 straight weeks against Hickory and Maiden. I normally don't do the scores, but that score just kind of jumped out at me 2 weeks in a row, and I have a feeling that East Lincoln might do something similar to Bunker Hill, winning this one 49-0. So, all right, jumping over to the middle row, we'll go from the top down. We've got Ashbrook Green Wave, our top team again in Kevin and our KTC Broadcasting PowerPoint standings. They're traveling to North Gaston this evening to take on the Wildcats. Research and thoughts on this one, fellas?
Yeah, Ashbrook's just been dominant so far. They've 5-0, 1-0 in the conference, and number 1 on our power poll. You're looking at some quality opponents that they've just outlasted. They don't necessarily throw up a lot of points, but they don't give up a lot either. A good win against South Point last week in a 2014 game, so they can grind it out when necessary. But North Gas is just not going to be able to hold up to the strength of Ashbrook here. But I say that game's going to be about 35-7 as well.
Yeah, North Gaston's only win on the season was a touchdown victory over East Gaston. They're led by running back Keldon Williams on the ground, but as you said, 1-4 record so far. They won't be able to handle Ashbrook. I've got Ashbrook winning this one 42-7.
Yeah, Ashbrook, they've got the resume to do it, including a double overtime win, hanging on against Marvin Ridge. They about gave that game away, but they held on, and then also squeaking out a win against South Point, which is no slouch. Now, granted, it wasn't at South Point, but still, South Point's a tough team, whether you're playing them at in Belmont or your own stadium. So, and Brian, you make a good point. Ashbrook, you look at like. I don't know why I'm comparing them to tennis players, but like you look at like Crest or a high-powered offense, kind of thinking like Roger Federer, or Pete Sampras, like overpowering. Ashbrook's like Novak Djokovic; they just won't go away, and you're not going to wear them down. They just keep coming at you, and they're not, and they've already shown too that they're not too. The moment's not too big for them in 2 straight games. So and I think that could prove to serve them well come playoff time. Winning those close games and not backing down. I think this is going to be a win for the Green Wave this evening. They're going to remain undefeated and probably remain on top of our PowerPoint standings. Bessemer City heads over to East Gaston this evening. Brian, tell me your breakdown.
Well, I mean, this is kind of an interesting game. I mean, you got 2 weaker teams, just to be honest here. East Gaston. Bessemer City's entered the game with a 1-4 record, 0-3 in a conference, and they've been outscored 206-27 in their 4 previous losses. East Gaston, they came in the contest, they're 0-4 as well, 0-2 in the conference, and they're giving up an average of 33.5 points. It's kind of a coin flip here, but I guess I'll go with the home team, East Gaston, 28-24.
Yeah, I went with the home team too. I think it's going to be a close game. Bessemer City's 1 win was over Pine Lake Prep, not a strong team, and since then they've given up 50 or more points in every game. So neither one of these teams are going to put a lot of points on board. I got East Gaston winning it 21-20.
I'm going to flip on this one on you guys. I'm going to go with Bessemer City. I think running back Keon Smith, senior for Bessemer City, is going to have a big game, and I think he could end up being the difference for the Yellow Jackets. I think they're going to sneak into East Gaston and pull out the win this evening for Bessemer City. All right, Highland Tech heads over to Lincolnton. Kenny, give me your breakdown on this one.
Well, Highland Tech, we know that they haven't been able to do much on the field this year. They just don't have the talent. And Lincolnton's been rolling since their 3-point loss early in the season to Maiden. They've been rolling. Had a big win over Burns. The Lynch brothers are playing well. and their highly recruited middle linebacker is also running the ball some in the backfield as well. And that's Mayfield. And so Lincoln will roll tonight. I've got Lincoln winning this one 49-0.
Just a quick look at the numbers. You're looking at Lincoln, who's averaging nearly 42 points a game and 450 yards of offense. Then you flip over to Highland Tech, who's 0-4, 0-3 in conference, and they've been outscored 245-6.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pretty easy win for Lincoln, and I got them 49-7.
The more we watch Lincolnton, or we see Lincolnton scores, the more they play, the more that loss to Maiden really stands out. You're like, what happened that evening? Because this just looks like a very strong Lincolnton Wolves team that we've got this evening. I just don't think Highland Tech's going to be able to hang with them, especially playing at Lincolnton. I picked Lincolnton to win this one as well. All right, Hunter Huss heads over to Belmont to take on the Red Raiders in South Point. Kenny, give me a breakdown.
Well, South Point coming off the loss last week to Ashbrook, and Hunter Huss, who's had a pretty good year so far. They're 4-1 on the season, and I think they'll be a little bit of a rivalry going on there. But as somebody said, you go to South Point and you're down 14-0 when you get off the bus.
Yeah.
And I think the game will be won by South Point 28-14.
I mean, they've played some good ball games. They lost 12. Hunter Huss, that is, lost 12-10 to TC. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that Roberson? Robertson.
Everybody down here except me says Roberson, but growing up in Buncombe County, we said T.C. Robertson.
I'm going to call him Robertson then from now on. I'll remember. But, they got good wins against Anson County and North Gaston. They worked against. But this is a different beast going into South Point. South Point, lost to Ashbrook and won a big game against Hickory, who's turned out to be stronger than maybe we thought they were going to be this year with the rebuild. I look for South Point to win this ball game, but it'd be a tight matchup, 28-21, South Point Red Raiders.
I'm looking at Huss's matchups. Yeah, again, tight loss going up the mountain at Robertson, only a 2-point loss. Beat Bessemer, North Meck, which they're not West Charlotte, but that's still you think Mecklenburg County. But that was a baseball score almost 11-7. They beat Anson and they beat North Gaston. Again, the record that I think. If you go to the old quote-unquote strength of schedule, I tend to think this South Point's going to be a leg or two up from the opponents they've faced so far this season. I think just too tall of an order for Hunter Huss to go into Belmont and beat South Point, so I picked the Red Raiders on this one. All right, Albemarle traveling to take on Mountain Island Charter.
I saw this one's a true toss-up.
Okay.
Went back and forth on this one. Albemarle coming in with 2-2 record. Mountain Island Charter 1-3, but Mountain Island playing at home. They got a good program there. I look for a tight, basically pretty low-scoring game. I'm going to go with the home team, Mount Island, 24-21.
Yeah, same thing. This is kind of one of those games you just don't know. It's a toss-up, and I tend to favor, in a team of weaker opponents traveling. I'm going to take the home team as well. I go 24-14 Mountain Island.
So Albemarle lost at home last week against Thomas Jefferson 20-6. I just find it difficult to think that they're going to be able to take on Mountain Island or travel to Mountain Island and be able to pull out the win. Now Mountain Island's 1-3. They've got one win against West Caldwell. Only 2 touchdown loss to Ford. 1 point loss to Christ the King, and then you've also got North Stanley that beat them pretty soundly. I think I wouldn't be surprised if this one goes to overtime, but I'm gonna go with the home team Mountain Island on this one. All right, Hickory Red Tornadoes travel up to North Lincoln or travel over to North Lincoln. Ken, what's the word you're hearing in Lincoln County about this matchup?
North Lincoln fell on hard times here. They lost a lot of seniors. Their defense needed some rebuilding, but they had the excellent running back Agee. But then their quarterback that runs a triple option broke his thumb, and he hadn't played the last 2 weeks, and they had a freshman quarterback in there. They've had ball handling problems, and so everything's just gone downhill. And they lost big time last week to rival East Lincoln, 49-0. And playing a strong Hickory team, even though it's at North Lincoln, I still see Hickory winning this one 42-14.
Yeah, like I say, Hickory's proven to be a much stronger opponent, even though they technically lost a lot last year as well. We see them, week in, week out, either flexing their muscle against a weaker team or staying close to a South Point team in a toss-up game. You got rush and attack from Hickory. Jaheim Jenkins is averaging 117 yards a game. North Lincoln, Agee, he's averaging 139.6 yards, but it's just in futile effort. They're just not able to stop anybody. So, again, I don't think they're going to be able to stop the Hickory Red Tornadoes here either. I look for the Tornadoes to blow through at 49-14.
I would have loved to have seen this matchup at North Lincoln 2 years ago. I watched North Lincoln play that 2 years ago at North Lincoln, and they just the efficiency. They just the offense obviously was primed. Everybody was healthy. They hadn't lost a lot of the graduates that y'all referred to, and they were just a well-oiled machine offensively and defensively. Not a lot of mistakes. You could tell they were a very well-coached team. And I actually told folks when Hickory was running roughshod through the rest of the region, I said, watch out for their matchup with North Lincoln. I think North Lincoln can give them a game. It was at Hickory that year, and I think that turned out to be a big advantage for the Red Tornadoes. Unfortunately, this isn't the same North Lincoln team this year, and I think Agee not having the supporting cast, especially in the skill positions, and obviously having a hurt starting quarterback and having a freshman
and a whole new coaching staff down there.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, having to learn a whole new system. Hickory's lost a lot, but I think North Lincoln's lost more, and I think Hickory's going to be able to go into North Lincoln and pull out the victory this evening. All right, so we're going to swing on over to the right side now. Keep on going. We've got about 10 minutes left before we kick things off or kick things over for football time and game time. West Caldwell heads over to Rutherford County to take on Philip Russ and the East Rutherford Cavaliers. Brian, give me your breakdown.
Well, East Rutherford had a big win last week against Highbright, and I picked them to go in there and pick them off. You just got a lot of the Pinkertons. I don't know if this is the same Pinkertons that used to be the Pinkerton Detective Agency out of Chicago. I'd like to ask somebody.
You got to ask Brandon and Matthew at some point.
I'm an old Western guy, so I like watching those. But I mean, East Rutherford here, West Caldwell's got a long ride. It's even going to be a bigger long ride home, I think, at this point. East Rutherford way too much right here. East Rutherford 42, West Caldwell 14.
Yeah, I think East Rutherford, they lost a close contest to Asheville to begin the season, but since then they've been rolling. They're averaging over 50 points a game. And I think Philip Russ will have that offense humming. I got them winning 42-14.
I'm not going to pull against Philip Russ at home and the team he's got with Landon Flynn and the Pinkerton boys. This is a lot of good quarterback and good skill position players that have been together for a long, long time. West Caldwell's going to have their hands full this evening with East Rutherford.
Real quick, lightning delay at UNC Charlotte, so don't exactly, but they haven't started the game, so I don't know exactly how that works with the lightning delay and warm-ups, but they're telling us there's probably a delay for that game.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Lightning delay for Corvian Community and Lincoln Charter. We'll keep you up to speed as we hear more. But yeah, getting back to the West Caldwell at East Rutherford, I think East Rutherford, they're going to be able to put points up on the board, and I think they're going to keep West Caldwell down. West Caldwell's not going to be able to keep up with East Rutherford's offense. Cavaliers win this one.
That storm is moving just northeast of Harrisburg right now. It should move out of the area in the next 10, 15 minutes.
I forgot. We got our own tornado chaser here in the studio.
He'll have to leave, boy.
He's going to hop in the car here in a minute and go after them.
Not that kind of weather. We do have a hurricane coming.
That's You, that's all you, man. I'm gonna batten down the hatches at home with my family. Thank you very much. So North Stanley, staying in Rutherford County. North Stanley travels over after. Thank goodness Thomas Jefferson has a home game after they had to travel halfway to Wilmington last week to get to Albemarle. So thankfully Thomas Jefferson has a home game. They host the Comets of North Stanley, undefeated, I believe, on the season. Brian, what you got? Any thought or any info that you've got on this game?
Well, I mean, you look at North Stanley. They beat Mountain Charter, was probably their signature win. If you look at the wins, they won 51-21 against Mountain Island Charter, and it looks like they just they got a good passing attack. That's where where they're making their hay. But the same thing from Thomas Jefferson. They're averaging 158 yards a game passing, and like I said, rushing is not there. They're purely a passing team. But I think North Stanley has played a little bit better quality opponent, and I think that they're going to be able to travel down to Thomas Jefferson and get the win 35-21 in that game tonight.
Yeah, I think that will be a close game. I'm looking at Thomas Jefferson to pull this one out. I've got it 28-20, Thomas Jefferson.
It's been feast or famine for most of the season for Thomas Jefferson. Last week was the first week that the losing team in their game actually scored. They shut out their opening opponent 48-0. They lost and got shut out the second week, 41-0. They came back and shut out their opponent in the third week, 39-0. And then they beat Albemarle 20-6. Brian, what you said about quality of opponents that North Stanley has played, I agree with that point. I think this is going to be a tall order for the Griffins to try to pull out the win this year. And I kind of go back. North Stanley showed, yes, they had a very they had the game well in hand last week against Mountain Island Charter, but the 3 weeks before that, all three of those were one-score games that they proved that they could. Again, the moment wasn't too big for them for 3 straight weeks, so they've got the mettle to hang on in a close game, and it also showed they had the firepower last week against Mountain Island Charter. So I'm gonna pick North Stanley to defeat Thomas Jefferson in this one. All right, so. You mentioned High Brighton earlier, Brian. East Burke comes to visit the Panthers this evening. What's the word on that matchup?
Well, I'm familiar with both these teams. I coached baseball at East Burke. I was the head coach for a couple of years up there. High Brighton's always got a quality program. Usually they have some speed guys in the backfield, and I think this is no different. East Burke looks to be kind of in a rebuilding mode. They did pick up a win last week. They shut out Patton 36-0. And High Brighton, got clipped by East Rutherford in a pretty good ball game. I mean, it looked like a 43-34 loss. High Brighton, we got rushing yards per game. You got Mitchell at 100 yards per game. And, I just think that they're going to be a different class of team than the East Burke Cavaliers this year. I got High Brighton 35-7.
Yeah, I think High Brighton not only had a rushing attack, but they've got a passing attack led by Elon Lippard, and I think there'll be too much for East Burke. I got it 34-14.
Yeah, East Burke, and I want to say, I'm trying to make sure I say this correctly. They head coach for them was Chase last year. Is that right? I believe.
Yeah, that's Cogdell. He used to be at Burns.
Coach. It was
Coach Cogdell.
Coach Cogdell was there. Yes. And I'm thinking he proved with his work at Chase as well. He's got ability to build a program up and build a team. So, and I think he wanted that challenge at East Burke. And he, up until last week, it looked like it was a challenge. So, yeah, Brian, I think you're right with the rebuilding mode. Going to High Brighton and into High Brighton, trying to defeat them is going to be a tall order. I picked the Panthers to protect their house this evening.
I look for him long term to do good things.
Absolutely,
he's a good, hard-working guy.
He's proven that. Yeah, he's proven that. It's one of those things, and I always used him as an example. You kind of think of Coach Sosby at Cherryville, what he's been able to build on this year, and what Philip Russ did at East Rutherford, just literally building that program from the ashes.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean he's in year one, so give him time, and he got his first win last week. So we'll see if he can get win number 2 this week. The Drone Wildcats are at Patton to take on the Panthers this week. Another matchup you might be a little familiar with, Brian. Tell us your thoughts on it.
Well, it's the battle of the beatings. Nobody has won in this one. Both teams are 0-4.
Somebody's walking out of here with a win this time.
So both teams are hungry for a win. I will say that. I'm just looking. Patton has allowed less points than Drawn. So I got to give them a little edge here. And the fact that they are at home. Patton, their rushing yards only get like 49 yards a game out of Jet Chapman. And then, the Drone, I just don't need to find any stats on them. I think Patton just takes the game, but in a close one. This was a toss-up. I'll take Patton 24-21.
Yeah, I think this will be a close game, but I'm like you. I don't think it'll be a high-scoring game. Something I noticed in looking at some of the information, Drone tries to pass, but not very successful. They've thrown 13 interceptions, only 1 touchdown.
Go.
Both of these did have one common opponent, Freedom, and Drone got beat 68-0. Patton got beat 46-6. I'll go with Patton 21-15.
You just stole my point, Ken. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Patton at home didn't lose to Freedom quite as bad. I'm picking the Panthers to win. All right, Kenny, we got Newton Conover traveling to Bandy's. Newton Conover's been looked pretty sharp the start of this year off. Bandy's not too bad themselves.
Both these teams put points on the board, 2-2 records by both of them. I think it'll be a high-scoring, close game. Bandy's lost to 2 really good teams, Kings Mountain and East Lincoln, but so has Newton Conover, but lost to 2 good teams. But I think it'll be a close game. I'm going to go with the home team on this one. Bandy's 31-27.
Yeah, quarterback Sweat rushing for 73 yards and passing for 230 a game for Bandy's is a big component of their offense. And Newton Conover, they always have historically liked to run the football. So I mean, they're rushing for 112 yards a game. But I just look at Bandy's has been scrappy. They've played some good teams in close contests. Both of them kind of got blitzed by East Lincoln about the same amount. And I'm going to have to give the Bandy's the edge at home. I'm going to get my 28-24 victory at home.
Yeah, Ken, you're right. They both lost to big team or to really sharp teams. I'm not quite Bunker Hill and St. Stephen's. I think Newton Conover. Now Alexander Central's not as stout as they've been in the past, but Newton Conover's win over them and plus beating Polk County in the second week. Those stand out to me. I picked Newton Conover not for the upset, to travel into Bandy's and win this game this evening. And our last game we're going to do, Ford heads over to Maiden. I don't know if Kevin liked that pick or not, but Ford travels over to Maiden. Our last game here. Who we got this evening between the Tigers and the Blue Devils?
Well, Maiden has shut out their last two opponents, and they're led by quarterback Grant Loring and running back Shannon Wingate. And Ford's 2-2 on the season, but this compare scores, they lost to West Iredale 37-2, and Maiden shut out West Iredale 21-0 last week. So I'm going to go with Maiden in this one, 28-7.
I know we were talking a little bit earlier about them Lincoln losing to Maiden. I don't think that was a bad loss. I mean, if you look at what Lincoln's been doing, their only loss is a 1-point loss to AC Reynolds.
Yep.
So I mean, I think Maiden has proven their wherewithal through the year so far. Passing Grant Lawan is leading the way, and rushing Shannon Wingate. I look for them to put up big numbers again tonight against Fred T. Ford, who seemed to be a little down this year. Maiden 42-7.
Yeah, Ford playing 500 ball, but going into Maiden, taking on the Blue Devils, that's going to be a heck of a challenge for them. And you're right, Brian. Both of you, the season Maiden's had already to kick things off is impressive, and just they'd be undefeated if it wasn't for 1 point or 2 points against AC Reynolds, which is always historically a tough team from up in the mountains. I'm gonna pick Maiden to win this one as well. So, all right, those are our predictions. As we wrap up, it's 6:30. It's about time for football for most of, if not all of our games. We do have a lightning delay with Corvian Community and Lincoln Charter at UNC Charlotte. So we'll keep an ear open to David Potter and see if he gives us news on when that game will be kicking off. But as of now, we'll wrap things up here on the Witherspoon Insurance pregame show. It's time for Friday night football action. Hopefully we'll get some the rain will stay away and we'll be able to get these games in and get you scores. As we get score updates, we will be sure to post those on the big screen that you see up. If you're looking right now, we'll be sure to keep you up to speed on those. But in the meantime, we'll send you over to the broadcast. We'll get the Red Zone started here shortly. You've been listening to the Witherspoon Insurance pregame show. Ken, Brian, any last thoughts? Anything y'all got?
I take a poncho to the game tonight. We got some light rain moving in out of South Carolina. Probably going to affect the Gaston County teams first. Cleveland County looks like they might get by and get in and get done. So
I trust my meteorologist over there to give me the breakdown. Kenny, any thoughts you got?
No, just a lot of good games tonight, and looking forward to it.
All right. We'll appreciate it, guys, as always. Enjoyed it. Wrapping up the pregame show. Let's get ready for Friday Night Football. We'll join you in the Red Zone here shortly in just a few minutes.